Hey everyone, it is Anna in the Books here, and today I'm going to be talking about my all-time favorite books. Okay, so I wanted to film a video of just like talking about some of my all-time favorite books, and it was actually really hard to get this list together because like there's a lot of books that I do love on my bookshelves. Like I read them and I gave them 5 stars. But when I really got down to it and I was like, okay, what are my like top favorites? Like what are books that I like think about all the time, or like they really stick with me, or like I really got something out of it? And like if somebody asked me like what's your favorite book, like these are books that like are the first things that I think of. That's why I was like, I want to do this video to really like kind of like showcase the types of books that I really do love. Especially since this is going to be like one of my first videos on my channel, and I think that it's a good place to start to see if we would be a good match. So let's just get started with the books. Okay, so I'm not gonna do them in any particular order. I just like was taking them off the shelves, and these are like kind of like, this is just what the order that they're in. So the first book that I want to talk about is The Wall by Marlon Hashover. I read this around the time that I read I Have Never Known Men, and I did enjoy I Have Never Known Men, but it's not on this list. But this book, there's something about a story about a woman who kind of is like at the end of the world and just surviving on her own. Like there's just something about that for me. I don't know, I love a survival story, but I love a quiet survival story. So this book, I think it was translated. I don't know, I feel like I end up loving translated books. I think it's an Austrian book. So you're following this middle-aged woman actually, and she's visiting her sister and her brother-in-law at their house, like in their cabin. It's like in a more secluded area, and her sister and her brother-in-law go out one night, and she decides to stay home, and they just like never come back. And the next day she walks out and she reaches a point in their like backyard, in their field or whatever, and there's like an invisible wall, and behind that wall is like the rest of the world, and she sees people, but they're frozen, like completely frozen. Like it's just like, it's as if something happened outside of this bubble that she's in. Like it's called the wall because she's like in this dome. Like something happened outside of the wall and everything out there is just frozen, except my baby just woke up from his nap, except where she is. And she is, kind of confused, but she kind of just has to survive. And she's not alone. She has a cow, a dog, and a cat. And, the weather still changes. She's still able to grow crops. She's still, the sun rises and sets every day. And you're kind of just following her surviving, without knowing what actually happened in the outside world. While she's, just living her day-to-day, just trying to survive. And I really, really loved it. It was a very quiet read. It also has no chapters. It's like all just like one endless stream. And I really love this book. I love it so much. And yeah, I feel like a lot of people might think it's boring and repetitive, but this is like exactly up my alley. The next book that just happens to be in this pile is Death Note. The story is by Sugumi Oba and the art is by Takeshi Obata. I just picked this first one just to represent the entire series and the entire story. I just love Death Note. It's one of my favorite animes ever. It is my favorite anime ever. And I don't know, I love the manga. Like these are like the black editions, and I just love it. I love the story, everything about it. And yeah, I only actually read the first 3 volumes of the manga, and well, technically they're like not like, the first one contains volumes 1 and 2, but there's I think 5 of these bind ups, And but I love them. I love Death Note. And if you don't know what Death Note it's about, it follows this main character. His name is Light Yagami, and he finds this book called the Death Note, and whoever possesses the book is able to see this type of like demon, and Shinigami, and they're like death gods. And he meets his Shinigami, and I love his Shinigami, he's so cute. And basically, when you have this book, you have the power to kill anyone that you write their name in, but you just have to know their name and their face for it to work. And it has to be like their exact name, and you have to know exactly like what they look like. And then you could just write their name and then they die. And you could write how they die, or if you don't, then they're just gonna have a heart attack. Even though like I feel like, you know, it's an anime, it's a manga, and people might not take it seriously, but like it really does kind of explore what would happen if someone has this power and they think that they're using it for good, but like you're also killing people. But yeah, I love Death Note. Another book that I absolutely love is How High We Go in the Dark by Sequoia Nagamatsu. Oh my god, I love this book. This is kind of like it's a sci-fi-ish futuristic book, and you follow different, like if it takes place in 2030, you follow like a few different people throughout the book, and it's so sad. Like there's one particular element in it that I think is like it's interesting. It's the concept of like an amusement park that is meant to kill you. Like you go there, and especially because there's like this disease that affects children, and once a child is infected, it's pretty much no hope. So the parents choose to take them to this amusement park to spend one last amazing day there. And the kids, I don't think they know that they're gonna die there. And at the end of the day, they go on this one last roller coaster, and that roller coaster, like the way that, you know, is engineered is to literally kill you. And like that's just like one of the stories in here. And I don't know, I love this book. It's the themes that it explores. It's so sad, but it's so beautiful, and I love this book. The next book on the list is Migrations by Charlotte McConaghy. This is definitely my favorite of her books. I've read this one, Once There Were Wolves, and the newest one, Wild Dark Shore, which was my least favorite. And I loved Once There Were Wolves, but Migrations is definitely my favorite of hers, and it's definitely one of my favorite books ever. This is also like a near future kind of sci-fi book, and a lot of her books deal with kind of climate and climate catastrophe and global warming, and you're following this woman, and her like lifelong thing is to follow the last migration of this one bird that migrates from, I think, Ireland all the way to Antarctica. And it's just her journey of people she meets and her trying to get to like follow the birds as they're migrating. And she does have like plans for the trip. Just to make sure it's not in the summer, you can't really. But then you also you get her backstory, and you kind of get why she's doing this trip, and it's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful, the ending. But yeah, I love this book. I love this book so much. The writing is beautiful. Also, I love this cover. I love this cover so much. Charlotte McConaghy's books just have beautiful covers, and this is my favorite. The next book is actually one of my like oldest favorite books ever. I think I read this for the first time in middle school or high school, and that is Life of Pi by Yann Martel. This is also my favorite movie. Life of Pi is my favorite movie, and it's one of my favorite books. I love a story about someone just surviving. I just love it. Like somebody alone, well, he's with a tiger, but just somebody in a really like strange or hard to navigate environment, just trying to survive, and the things that they think about and the things that they start to remember and really care about while they're just like, you know, like removed from the world and removed from everything, like what at the root of it, like what is most important to them. And I just love it. I love this book. I haven't read it in so long. I really need to reread this. 2026 is definitely a year that, like, one of my big plans is to reread a lot of books. I think I want to make a series where I actually reread these specific books, like some of my favorite books. And this was definitely something that I need to reread it because I love it. I love Pi. I love him so much, and I love the movie. I like watch the movie at least like once a year. But yeah, the next book is The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I think like in the past year or so I saw like a lot of people hating on this book, but I love The Alchemist. I think it is so endearing and hopeful, and just like, so I love it. I love The Alchemist. Again, it's just some guy, Santiago, and he's on the quest to find, I think it was like gold or something. It's like ends up like in search of treasure. It's like in Egypt and like near the pyramids, and you follow him as he navigates through northern Africa, and the people he meets. There's a lot of times where it's like God is like a huge like reference in this book, and like people he meets he thinks like they're God personified, and he like meets this woman on the way, and I don't know, I love it. It's like a little bit magical realism. Also, this copy I had thrifted it, and I read it, like the first time I read it was this copy, but then I read it for my AP Lit class in high school, and so I have all of my annotations in it, and my teacher actually asked me, she was like, can I keep this as an example for future students on how to annotate? I said no. I was like, this is like my favorite book, and my favorite, like, this copy is amazing, and I was like, I'm gonna keep this. I'm like, I'm sorry. And then she's like, no, like, it's okay, I understand. But yeah, so The Alchemist is definitely one of my all-time favorite books. I've also read this like multiple times, and I got my husband to read it. Okay, the next book is Circe by Madeline Miller. Oh my god, I also, like, my first dabble into Greek mythology was Madeline Miller. It was A Song of Achilles, which I also love that book. But if I had to choose just one of all of my Greek mythology books, which I have them like all right here, like you can't see them out of frame, it will definitely be Circe. I love Circe so much. Again, it's a woman and she's on an island, but she does have like her son, and Circe is known as like the first witch, and I don't know, I love the story, and it, like, you kind of get like tastes of other Greek mythology, kind of like some of them like who passed through her island, and she is just, I love Circe. She's a witch, she's a mother. It's just, I love the story. I think, who is the guy that comes, also like Odysseus literally goes to Circe's island like during his Odyssey, you know, and I think it's so interesting to see how like she fits into like the more popular Greek mythology stories that we like all grew up like learning about. But Circe, I love her. She's one of my all-time favorite characters in a book ever. Like, she's just one of my all-time favorite characters, and also just, I love it, and I really want to reread this too. As you can see, like, I have so many tabs because I love this book. It's perfect. So the last book I'm going to talk about is probably, I feel like you can technically say it's like, definitely, this is, I don't know, okay, I'm like stuttering. So the next book is probably, for a long time I've always said immediately this is my favorite book. It's just my favorite childhood book. It's one of the first, it's like the first chapter book I remember reading as a kid, and I've always loved it, and that is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. This is like the only book that I have multiple editions of. I have two more up there, But this particular edition I wanted to show it because it's so beautiful. My husband got this one for me for my 21st birthday. I have like the little Amazon like gift notes, and I need to reread this from this book because it has like all of like those little extra things. I think this is like a map, and there's like there's a garden. But yeah, The Secret Garden, I love it. You're following this little girl and these two boys. I can't remember the boys' names. I haven't read this in a long time. But the girl, her name is Mary, and her parents die in India because, you know, this is like when the British were in India, and she has to go and live with her uncle, and like he's like a very rich guy. He owns this like beautiful house, and there's a garden that she finds in the secret garden, and she meets this like local boy, and they go and they try to find their way in it. They try to explore. It's just, I don't know, I feel like it has like a lot of like the childhood whimsy and the childhood imagination, you know, like especially when you're little and you find something that you don't understand, and you and your little friends just try to like, you know, you make up this like whole like world and this whole story around it. And I have to go because my baby's starting to get too fussy. But yeah, this was just a little video just talk about some of my all-time favorite books. Maybe you guys got a recommendation out of here, but I just wanted to talk about them, and I guess like to see like some of like my biggest themes that I tend to really enjoy and really stick with me. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about these books, and yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below what is your all-time favorite book. And yeah, see you guys next time.